Gear Force Tenkuman. I love this chapter so much. It was great. I do gotta say, I did not expect this at all. I've made theories about, Gear Force alternate forms in the past, and I do gotta say that it was pretty close, a lot of the theories I came up with. And I predicted that there would be like a heavy armament form that would be very tank-like, and that it would be able to absorb heavy attacks, be very defensive and powerful. And it actually came true, sort of, but this one is a bit more fat and pudgy than I expected. And it does seem to be conditional. I'm not really too sure. We asked for a new Gear 4th form, and we got it. I'm sure a lot of people are a little bit upset over the way it looks, because in terms of goofiness, it has Bounce Man beat, and a lot of people were upset about the goofiness of Bounce Man. So that's telling you something. So yeah, I'm sure if you've seen this by now, you either love this new form and you love like the power and stuff, or you just hate it and you're like, oh my god, we need something else. And I'm sure we will get more forms, because now it's confirmed we do have extra forms in Gear 4th. And I'm sure it's not going to just stop at 2. We might get like a skinny form. But yeah, just initial impressions, I liked it. Could have been better. It could have been cooler. But at the end of the day, this is Oda, and he's like a big troll, sort of like the guy who made One Punch Man and all that. He's not always going to deliver in terms of our high expectations on how the transformations and different powers will work. But at least he delivered. Beggars can't be choosers, am I right? So Nami has been using the homies and the gigantic tree to her advantage. She's been turning them into an army, and they've been protecting her essentially from Cracker, while she's been weakening the biscuits with water. And this answers a lot of the questions we had last chapter, which were how was Luffy surviving for 11 hours? And he was obviously getting help from Nami. It's a little bit disappointing that he needed all of this help in order to win, but then again, he needs stamina left over to save Sanji, so it makes sense that this was a little bit more of a strategic win. I'm sure if he went all out and used King Kong Gun right from the get-go, he could have won, but he would have been knocked out completely like he was against Doflamingo, so he wouldn't have had enough energy left over to save Sanji. And speaking of Sanji, we got a lot of new info on him this chapter. We know that he's now going to the wedding, and Reiju was basically talking to him, helping him recover from the swelling using this type of mask that just condenses his face and all the swelling down. And she said she will no longer bail Sanji out, which is complete BS, because we know that she is the only Vinsmoke who even cares about Sanji. So if he needs to get bailed out from the whole situation, the wedding, I'm sure she will be the one out of everybody to actually help Sanji, aside from Luffy and all of them. But she is also perhaps one of the strongest Vinsmokes, because she is the first child. She represents Zero. Her name actually stands for Zero. And there's the fact that she always, as a kid, was at the top. In the training montages as a kid, she was always the first one to complete the training. So I could totally see her bailing Sanji out of the wedding, at least helping him escape from the Vinsmokes. I think Sanji might get a fight against Ichiji or Niji, and that'll be how they play a role. And then Luffy now, if he did defeat Cracker, we will see him perhaps going into the mirror dimension and helping Chopper out, and then going to the wedding through there. And we get to see another flashback of Zeph teaching Sanji something new. Basically, we get to see more of his training with Zeph, and how he basically taught him to never hit women, and that on top of the Vinsmoke perverted nature that Yonji has, for example, with women. This definitely is what influenced Sanji to never hit women, and basically even become obsessive with women to a degree. We then get to see Sanji leaving the Germa Kingdom in this really cool getup and this gigantic cart. And then there's this mutated cat leading them, which, I don't know, the Vinsmokes have the weirdest animals under them, and I'm sure this is a result of their genetic modification. And then we get to see Luffy's new Gear 4th form, finally, and this one just completely annihilates Cracker. It kind of sucks that he needs all of this help in order to use this new form, but it does seem like it could be a standalone form without all of the food required, because he said Tank Man full version. So I wonder if there's just like a standard Tank Man, just by putting more air into his muscles and making himself more balloon-like. But even if this was something he came up with on the spot, I'm sure he can potentially replicate the effects using air It's very possible. And based on this chapter, will there be a new form? Potentially. It sounds like he could come up with a skinny form in the future if he doesn't already have one. That would be based on speed, because this is based on weight and defense and power. So he could have another form that's based on speed and like agility and dodging if there's a character that's a lot faster than him, even in Gear 4th. But yeah, this chapter has just awakened a lot of new possibilities, and it's basically just confirmed the whole alternate forms to Gear 4th idea. Unfortunately, the idea that these forms will be animal-based isn't exactly coming to fruition. But on the bright side, this could be maybe like a hippo type form. I'm not really too sure. The small arms, small legs, and the gigantic fat body, center body, like it does seem like it could be based on a hippo. Who knows? I don't know. That's probably a little bit of a stretch. But I am pretty satisfied with the victory as a whole. I doubt Cracker will get up next chapter. If he does, it would completely break the logic behind his weakness. He cannot stand pain. He can't even stand the pain of a needle. And I doubt he will get back up at all. If he does, I will be pretty much enraged at that point, because Oda's just going to be like screwing with our heads. I just really hope for the climax to be approaching, because I just want to see Sanji go all out. I want to see the Straw Hats use some new abilities. We've just been dragging on with the story for so long, and we haven't gotten a proper fight with the Straw Hats in a very long time. So I do hope that after this chapter, we're just finished with Cracker and we go straight to the wedding. Or at least get to see what's happening in Wano with Zoro. Something new, hopefully. And if you enjoyed this chapter, which I'm sure a lot of you did, some of you may have not enjoyed the form though, please tell me what you think in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this review, like and subscribe. And other than that, I will see you all next time.